Guys, Slimber here, and I figured we'd do a video on PragerU since I haven't done a video in a while. Specifically, Larry Elder, because he's, I think, running for president against Trump, apparently, which is interesting. And he's discussing why JFK wasn't really a Democrat, which I'm going to explain, one, why his positions are dumb, and two, why there's no point in this, because if anything, JFK was further to the left than the Democrats of nowadays. So, yeah, let's get right into this, shall we?
He was one of America's most popular presidents, handsome, charismatic, a war hero. He believed a strong military was the best guarantor of peace. He explained that cutting taxes was the best way to grow the economy. He firmly opposed racial quotas and was horrified by the idea of unrestricted abortions. Can you name him? Here's one more clue. He was not a Republican. The answer? John F. Kennedy. When he was elected president in 1960, Kennedy's views were considered mainstream in the Democratic Party. But while the Kennedy name is still revered by the Democrats today, the policies he espoused are not. Ronald Reagan, America's 40th president, who was a Democrat much of his life, famously said, "I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The party left me."
Ronald Reagan pretty much left the Democratic Party in the fucking 50s, dude. He literally endorsed Eisenhower, and he endorsed fucking John F. Kennedy's opponent, Richard Nixon, for president. Like, why is this relevant to John F. Kennedy when he didn't even support John F. Kennedy? It's not like he was like, oh, I liked Kennedy, but after that, oh, they got too far left for me. Like, he was pretty opposed to Kennedy, too.
So, if Kennedy were alive now, which party would he belong to? It's impossible to know, of course.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, not even based off, like, a policy thing, but, like, literally his family has historically, and still is, very loyal to the Democratic Party. He, as well, was very loyal to the Democratic Party. He probably would still be in the Democratic Party.
But we can compare his political positions to those of today's Democratic Party. On race, JFK disliked the idea of using racial preferences and quotas to make up for historic racism and discrimination.
Actually, I just did some, like, basic research and found this executive order in which John F. Kennedy signed that basically was the beginning of affirmative action. Basically, it was to prevent, people from being discriminated in the workplace. But, like, it was one of, like, the earliest examples of affirmative action, so you're full of shit, dude.
Today, affirmative action is Democratic Party orthodoxy. But Kennedy thought such policies were counterproductive. "I don't think we can undo the past," Kennedy said. "We have to do the best we can now. I don't think quotas are a good idea. We are too mixed, this society of ours, to begin to divide ourselves on the basis of race or color." On taxes, Kennedy was an ardent proponent of across-the-board tax cuts, believing that more cash in the hands of all Americans, including the so-called wealthy, and a lighter footprint from the IRS would grow the economy. "A tax cut means higher family income and higher business profits," Kennedy said in an address to the nation shortly before his death. "Every taxpayer and his family will have more money left over after taxes for a new car, a new home, new conveniences, education, and investment. Every businessman can keep a higher percentage of his profits in his cash register or put it to work expanding or improving his business." On foreign policy, Kennedy was very firm about his red lines. When the Soviet Union built missile sites in Cuba, leading to what is known as the Cuban Missile Crisis, Kennedy threatened a decisive military response. The Soviet Union backed down.
Well, hold up. I would not use that as an example, a good thing for JFK. I mean, that literally almost caused nuclear Armageddon between him, the Soviets, and fucking Cuba having a giant misunderstanding and almost blowing us all to kingdom come, dude.
JFK believed as Ronald Reagan did in Peace Through Strength, not strength through peace. In his inaugural address, Kennedy made the case for a strong U.S. military. He saw this as the only way to deter America's enemies. Only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt, he said, can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
Well, wait, hold up. The U.S. government is currently giving, or last year they gave the military $839 billion. That's almost $1 trillion fucking dollars. I think we have a strong enough military right now, dude. Like, that's a lot of fucking money to give them. And JFK actually, towards the end of his presidency, after that Cuban Missile Crisis I brought up, he fucking was starting to see, like, hey, there's a problem with the military-industrial complex, and maybe we should get out of the Cold War, or, like, I mean, I guess the Cold War wasn't like a war, but, you know, stop fighting the Cold War as hard. And, I mean, look, I'm not really much of a conspiracy theorist, but, like, once he started thinking that, he got shot, so, you know, maybe JFK isn't your little conservative buddy.
On gun rights, Kennedy was one of 8 U.S. presidents who was a lifetime member of the NRA. Here's what he said about the Second Amendment. We need a nation of Minutemen, citizens who are not only prepared to take up arms, but citizens who regard the preservation of freedom as a basic purpose of their daily life, and who are willing to consciously work and sacrifice for that freedom.
Look, I'm pro-gun, you know, pro-Second Amendment. I support concealed carry, open carry, but, like, I guess being pro-gun didn't really save Kennedy in the end, did it?
On abortion, Kennedy was assassinated a decade before the landmark Supreme Court case Roe v. Wade. Abortion was not a major issue during his administration, but we do know that he nominated Justice Byron White, a Democrat, to the Supreme Court. White was one of 2 justices who dissented in Roe v. Wade.
You know, we don't know his opinion on it, but, you know, this guy he was affiliated had an opinion 10 years later, so that must have been his opinion, very clearly. Like, you know, like, not every president agrees with, like, every... I mean, you know, obviously they like them enough to pick them, but, like, I don't think they agree with almost every single position a Supreme Court justice they pick does. Especially if they're not focused on it in their administration, then they're probably not even discussing that.
We also know that Kennedy abhorred Japan's post-World War II use of abortion as a means of population control, saying, "On the question of limiting population, as you know, the Japanese have been doing it very vigorously through abortion, which I think would be repugnant to all Americans."
Wait. There is a big difference between the modern day discussion of abortion and fucking population control. A mother willingly going to get a fetus aborted because they either can't take care of it or whatever reason they don't want to have it is different than being forced to abort it. That's actually fucked up. That's different. That's a lot different.
Today, if a Democrat advocated the positions on race, taxes, foreign policy, guns, and abortion that our 35th president once did, he wouldn't be a Democrat.
That's, like, not even true. There's literal conservative Democrats. Nancy Pelosi last year got controversy for fucking endorsing a Democrat who was opposed to abortion. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Conservative Democrats exist. They're fucking cringe. They're just as shitty as fucking Hillary Clinton and fucking Nancy Pelosi. But yeah, they exist.
He belonged to that other party. I'm Larry Elder for Prager University.
Honestly, guys, tell me what you thought of the video. I haven't done a video in... what is it now? Fucking April, so... September was the last time I did, like, probably a real YouTube video, maybe August, so it's been a minute. But, yeah, leave a dislike. Oh, wait, yeah, you can't do that anymore. I forgot. R.I.P. YouTube. Don't say fuck, because YouTube will be very upset about it. And, yeah, Slimber out.